everybody and welcome back to the channel. I've recorded this video so many times now, so I'm really hoping that I can get my message across now. This video is about Blizzard Entertainment. For those who are outside the Blizzard universe, Blizzard has recently been sued in the last 2 years by the state of California in the US. And this is on discrimination grounds against women who have worked and are currently working for the business. It is a newer case. However, the allegations that have been presented span around 10 years worth of time, and the contents of the case cover various different areas of discrimination against the women who have come forward, and they include things such as their pay, their assignment within the company, promotional opportunities, and constructive discharge. The document itself is 29 pages worth, and I'm not going to quote various different things from it because a lot of it is quite sensitive, and I found it quite upsetting, if I'm honest with you. So it is available publicly for you to have a look if you would like to. It is quite easy to find online. So please just bear in mind that if you choose to look for that document, some of it is quite upsetting. Why am I making this video? So the reason why I'm making the video is because I worked for Blizzard Entertainment within the last 10 years. And before I continue, I would just like to highlight that my grounds for leaving the business were nothing to do with any discrimination or harassment that the women who have come forward have, shared with us. I'm making the video because I would like to be informative about the issues that are ongoing there, but also to provide my vocal support for these team members that have been treated in this way. I think that I've debated making the video over a few days, and it's one of those that there's only so much I can do to help. I can't change that business personally. I don't know a lot of the women who are involved. So as a content creator, I feel that the best way I can do some type of support is just by speaking about it and helping to create awareness of the challenges that they faced in their employment. I never spoke to you guys, my community, about my involvement with Blizzard before, and the reason why is because I didn't want to come steamrolling in and giving myself any sort of reputation from the get-go. I wanted you guys to like me for my content, watch me for my content, even if you don't like me, whatever. I wanted there to be another reason for watching me other than that I had been involved with such a prestigious computer games company. And I say prestigious because it feels like in recent months, even outside of the harassment and discrimination case, there has been a fall of Blizzard, and it feels like they're on such a huge tumble, but nothing for me has been so severe as the way that they have been treating their own team members, predominantly women. I have decided to do this now after all of this debating inside, because I think that some things are just bigger than yourself. I think that me wanting to not speak about my experience at Blizzard doesn't help people. And one of the qualities that I have as a person is that I like helping people, which is why I work for Blizzard in the first place, funnily enough. But if I can spend 20 minutes speaking to you guys about what has happened and my own personal experiences, and if that can help a person somewhere in the world, then I've accomplished what I set out to do. Those women who have experienced issues at the company, some of them have kept quiet for 10 years, or well, 8 years, you know. And I think that they kept quiet for so long, and I think it is right to help them voice their issues. And speaking about the tumble of Blizzard and things like that, unfortunately, due to the timeline of when some of these events took place, you can't blame Activision for this. And that's one of the most upsetting things for me as an employee of Blizzard Entertainment before Activision came along. A lot of concern, hate speech, etc. about Blizzard has been about the production of its games, microtransactions, various different frustrations with the game, particularly World of Warcraft. And this just, you can't blame Activision from it. This is examples there are examples in this case of when Mike Morhaime was running the company, the founders, Chris Metzen, Frank Pierce, you know, the original founders of the company, the wonderful creators of this franchise that we loved. And it is so upsetting that not only did some members of Blizzard's management allow these things to happen within the company, but some of them were actually instigated by leadership at Blizzard. And it is very clear from these allegations, if they are true. And one thing with this case is it is still an ongoing investigation. Excuse me. So nothing is factual or fiction as yet. Sorry. I worked for Blizzard during the time that the founders were still present at the business, and I would like to reiterate that I did not leave the company because I felt that I was discriminated against in any way. The reason that I left was because I decided to go to university, and the reason I decided to go to university was because I felt that there wasn't many promotional opportunities available in the company. And it's not that I felt that women didn't have promotional opportunities, it's that I felt that in general there weren't a lot of promotional opportunities. Blizzard was a company that people were proud to work for, and there was only really room for promotion when the person who was doing the job decided to leave. But people didn't leave because they were happy to be there. We were all very happy to be there. You know, people used to make jokes that we had blue blood. If we got cut, then we would have blue blood because obviously the main brand colour for Blizzard is the bright blue. And I'm going to speak a little bit now about my own experience, but I don't want you to think that I'm trying to make this video about myself. I'm trying to provide things that are relative to the case in terms of what I experienced for myself. And whilst I didn't get harassed or discriminated against, I think that there are a few telltale signs in some of the things I'm about to say that will relate to kind of some of the practices in the business being a little bit questionable. I loved my job. I worked at one of the European offices, and I appreciate that this case is relating mostly to the office in the US. However, obviously we were an office within the same umbrella, within the same company. We were so proud to work there. We used to wear Blizzard t-shirts to work. We didn't have to. We didn't have a uniform. We used to wear them because we were proud to be there. We used to wear them out in public. We weren't afraid to go to the supermarket or, out for the day into the pubs with our, Blizzard t-shirts on, etc. We worked every launch day. We worked Christmas, all the Christian-based holidays, night shifts. We loved it there. We provided, blood, sweat and tears to this company to ensure that the community was supported at all times. And this was both men and women. I will admit that in my experience, women were vastly outnumbered, and I was young at the time. I didn't really think anything of it. I just thought that, this is a computer game company. The product is a computer games, and a lot of people associate computer games with men. Obviously, that's not the case, and I think that women are becoming more and more involved in computer games. But at the time, like I said, I was young and naive. That's just the consensus I had on the whole thing. One thing I will say is a lot of staff members, because a lot of us moved country to work for Blizzard, and a lot of people brought their families with them. So if included wives, husbands, children, etc. There was a department that many of you may have spoken to if you've played World of Warcraft or any Blizzard game, that's called the account and billing department, and throughout kind of the building that was known as the wives department. There was a lot of male banter, and that was just one of the things that the wives weren't seen as gamers. They were seen as women who needed a job to help support their family. I was quite resilient to all of the male banter. I played a lot of again, I'm young. I just assumed that was the way it was. I didn't think much of it because I've been playing games for so many years. I just thought that was how it was here. I was pleased to work with so many different people. I learned so much about the world from working for Blizzard. I met so many people from so many different cultures and nationalities. There were people who were part of the LGBTQAI community, and I learned so much about different countries, and we used to cook for each other, particularly a lot of the German team. They used to cook so much. It was such a happy experience. I thought I was happy anyway. But what makes me sick is I was happy, but how happy was the lady sitting 2 seats from me, the lady on the next bench? I didn't really think about it at the time. What I would like to highlight is the HR practices within Blizzard. So for the vast majority of my employment, I didn't actually know where the HR office was located in the building, and I actually only knew where HR was once I had started the processes of leaving the business and asking for a reference for university, etc., etc. I met one member from HR once during my tenure at Blizzard, and that was on my induction. I can't remember what day of induction it was, but one member of HR came into the training room to take some right to work documentation from somebody in the room. Didn't do a welcome to the company spiel like a lot of HR departments do. Didn't make us feel like we could go and see them. Didn't explain the different structures of who handles what type of issue within the business. So we didn't really know who did what, and every company's structure is different, and I've learned that now in recent years, that different departments do different things. Like, I've worked for a company where payroll wasn't handled by HR, payroll was actually handled by the accounts department. So I think it's really important that, you know, a HR department lets you know exactly what their function is. And yet again, I was young. It was my second proper job, so I didn't know that they should really stand there and give us this information. After that person left, yet again, I didn't deal with HR ever again until I decided to leave the business. The company had its own learning and development team, so if you had training or you need mentoring, coaching, that type of thing, it was done through the learning and development team. If you had a pay issue, you would speak to your senior manager. If you wanted holidays, through your senior manager. So at no point did you feel like you had an impartial person to speak to if you had any sort of harassment issues or other personal issues that you may not wish to speak to your senior manager about. Essentially, if you had a problem with your senior manager, at the time I probably would have spoken to another senior manager, but the problem with that is, with it being a very close-knit environment, I would feel like that other manager might inform that manager. It would have been a very difficult thing to manage, put it that way. But all in all, we had an email address for HR, but we were never encouraged to use it. We were never given a reason to use it. It was just there, and because they hadn't made themselves feel that they were approachable, nobody contacted HR that I knew anyway. And it makes me feel sick that there could have been a woman, or anybody really, not necessarily a woman, that could have had or experienced an issue in the workplace, and they felt that they had nowhere to report it to, no one to turn to. And that's led to a case such as this, where employees have kept their issues, their discrepancies to them for 10 years. That's a long time. And some of those employees may still even work there, and they have put up with this harassment for the last 10 years. And those are my experiences anyway at Blizzard. I could speak more and more about my time there, but I think the most important thing for me to highlight is the HR practices and some of the attitude from mostly the men who worked there. But as I say, I don't think this case necessarily represents any EU or European examples. I'm just sitting here in my studio at the minute, which I choose, as you know, to decorate with vastly Blizzard related memorabilia, and there's employee gifts and stuff on there, things that are very, limited edition, things that I was so proud to receive. There's a gift up there that was, length of service awards, Christmas presents that they gave us, all sorts of things are on there. And I don't really know what to do with any of it. I leave the stuff there not just for you guys to have a nice background, but the door to my office is just behind the shelves there, and when I walk in every day, I have a reminder of why I do what I do, where I've come from, what I've done in my life. There's so much on there that I'm proud of, and it makes you really reconsider what all of those objects mean. And there are different people on who I've read opinions from online. There's been a lot of content creators that have issued their own thoughts, and these are, streamers and YouTubers, etc., that have dedicated their lives to promoting Blizzard products and essentially promoting an unethical company. And equally, it hits me because I was part of said unethical company. If these allegations prove to be true, I'd like to just reiterate once again that this is still an ongoing investigation, but I am leaning towards supporting those that have come forward. But when you look at the types of creators that have come forward, Preach is one of those, and Preach actually released today that on his stream that he will no longer be streaming World of Warcraft for the foreseeable future, just because he wants to work out what he wants to do. I've seen accounts from other people like Asmongold, Taliesin and Evertal, Bellular, Hazelnutty. There are so many different creators that have been affected by this issue, and it's now raising questions within the creator community about what do we do now, what's our step. What I would like to say is that I have read a lot of hate speech towards Blizzard and current Blizzard employees on social media platforms, and from what I can see so far is the case relates to the US. If you are based in Europe, and a lot of these European teams may not have been involved in this case whatsoever. If you are speaking to a GM and you play on a European server, you are speaking to somebody that is also in Europe. So just bear that in mind. There are other ways of supporting those affected by this investigation and the allegations that have been put forward. I have noticed that some people have decided to stop playing the game and have cancelled their subscription fees. Fair enough is what I'll say to that. If you don't wish to give any more money or playtime towards these Blizzard games, then I completely understand that. But a lot of the people that you will encounter on social media are not necessarily those that have been involved in making these women's lives the way that they have been. I'm not entirely sure who has come across, or I'm not sure, I don't know who has made these allegations, but some of the allegations have been made against people that I have met. And whilst I have no qualm, no allegation to make about anybody. It still makes me feel sick to my stomach that I've met these people, and if these allegations are true, I'm just so lucky that I didn't experience the same. So there has been a couple of internal communications that we've had sight of on social media, and one of those is from the current president of Blizzard, which is J. Allen Brack. And when you read the email, he is attempting to make himself more approachable to employees, and has said that he will be speaking to, and he uses, it goes without saying, a few times in his email, trying to get across that there are certain behaviours which are not tolerated within the company. It is quite a fluffy email, but there is another email that really got the backs up of employees, which is from one of the newer executives at Activision Blizzard, and her name is Fran Townsend. So she essentially sent another email. She's actually only been in the company for a few months. She was hired this year. She used to be an employee of George W. Bush as a Homeland Security advisor. So a lot of people have condemned the email because it is written in a very factual manner, her own facts, of course, which seemingly dismiss a lot of the allegations, particularly those that have some date to them, some of the older accusations, and it has infuriated quite a lot of the Blizzard team. And today, some of the employees, there's about 1,500 signatures on this letter at the moment, but they've essentially written a letter to say that they don't have faith that their voices will be heard, that there will be changes at the company, and they have lost faith in their management. And it just seems that this is going to be ongoing for a very, very long time. I think that there are people working within that company, particularly at an executive level, that are trying to protect themselves and the company's assets rather than protecting the company's employees. And a company is not a company, in my opinion, without employees. If you can't take care of your employees, then they will not take care of you and the games in which they produce. I am going to leave it there, guys. Like I say, there's plenty of reading material on social media, and if you would like to have a look at it, I think that you can tell that it's, personally affected me quite a lot. But nothing obviously has affected those more than those that have received any sort of discrimination or harassment whilst working for Blizzard Entertainment. So please be supportive in your own way. And thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. I'll see you soon.